Dr. Macnaughton, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy practice schedule to do this brief interview with me today. I know you have an MBA as well as you have a PhD in psychology, a busy practice in Vancouver, and you're oriented both to and teach in the area of somatic experiencing with Peter Levine, and fairly in the last few years you were inspired to do the course with Diana Fosha, the Immersion, and that's why I wanted to ask you a little bit about today. How was that course for you? What would you say about it?
The course was fantastic for me,
Uh-huh.
and I mean, Diana's great to be around at any time.
Uh-huh.
That's the first thing, and then secondarily, the opportunity to be with like-minded colleagues interested in this model, and to see great work. You know, we saw different videos. We got to work together and practice the skill sets. And there was a foundation behind watching, asking questions, and practicing that was a solid base of theory, which informed the practice and the skills. And I particularly found it so helpful to be in a model that both is cognitive and somatic,
Wow.
that it includes the whole person and is very heart-directed, and includes the new neuroscience that informs all of this work.
Well, and I think for you to be impressed by AEDP says a lot because you've been exposed to such a range of therapy, from family systems, which influences your thinking, as well as a lot of somatic work. And so you really, I get a sense it stood out for you in terms of integration.
Well, it stood out for me in terms of integration. That's one part of it,
Mm-hmm.
for sure, Dale. You're quite right. The other part was I have not, I have with individual teachers, but not informed just totally by a model, the support and encouragement and the theory and evidence about being appropriately human with the people who come to us for assistance.
Wow. That stood out in some kind of unique way in the AEDP model. Is that what you're saying?
Definitely.
Uh-huh.
I think in AEDP, there is this incredible validation for the way the therapist is with the client, the attunement. And there are other models that talk about attunement and attachment and those evidence-based practices. But there's a way in AEDP that you're able to champion what you see in the client, in the patient. You're encouraged to speak to it and to develop an authentic relationship with the client around what you're seeing as their gifts, their strengths, in a very authentic way, and to bring your own feelings when they're appropriate and at an appropriate level in with your clients.
Wow.
So that they actually know that you're there as a person and that you can hold an appropriate boundary in your role as a therapist as well.
Wow, that's wonderful. You started off saying something about it being special to be with Diana Fosha herself. Can you say a little bit more about how you experienced her as a teacher, as a faculty member, as a clinician, as you saw her tapes?
Well, both in her tapes and her personhood, which she's one of those teachers that when you meet her or you're learning from her or you see her work, it's rather seamless that the person who is the authentic Diana and the person who is the Diana therapist is congruent. So you don't get this sense that the person's role is detached from themselves. And of course, that's what she models and encourages us to be. That be authentic and show up as a human being and let your clients know that they are doing a heck of a job just coming in for some help, and that they may be struggling, but she models in the way she teaches and herself, which was very inspiring, how to be very human with the person and so helpful.
Wow. Just your words are very exciting and moving, and I want to thank you for taking this time from your busy schedule to share some of how this work of AEDP and Diana Fosha herself has inspired you. Thank you so much, Dr. Macnaughton.
You're very welcome.